So we went back to our ship.
Over here. The workup's in the cabinet's hands. They said they'll call for us once they've gotten to properly review it. But listen, I know I should have been more forthcoming about who I was earlier. So, in the interest of full disclosure, there's one more thing you ought to know before we head up there. My relationship with the UC, it's more complicated than it might seem at first glance. The UC's actually the only reason I'm here in the first place. I am a clone of a man named Francois Sanon, one-time fleet admiral of the UC during the Colony War, former head of the UC Navy. They called him Vae Victus, woe to the defeated, in Old Earth Latin, a title he earned. The program I was a part of, it was the UC's attempt to create a new generation of military minds from one of their most respected tacticians. Secure the leadership of the UC military for generations to come.
Are there others from your program still out there?
But before we get up there, my relationship with... They called him the program. Secure the lead.
Are there others from your program still out there?
I'm the last. A few of my siblings, they passed when we were young. Training accidents and the like. But most of the rest were deployed to the front lines during the Colony War, and they never came back. Not a day goes by where I don't think about what the world would look like with them still in it.
Does this have to do with us addressing the cabinet?
I'm getting there. The man I was cloned from, my father, was executed for acts he committed during the war. The man caused a lot of death, on both sides. Freestar Collective, and UC. Military, and civilians. And the things he did, well, they're a part of the reason the UC and Freestar Collective aren't really on great terms to this day. So my involvement, it could be another obstacle they throw at us up there. I just wanted you to be forewarned.
Wow, I thought my family was messed up. Got your father and Kevin to see that. It's their problem.
I really appreciate you saying that. I just thought you deserved to know, considering how much you've done already. You know, while we've got a second, was there anything else we needed to discuss? I know you got dropped into the middle of this pretty fast. Or, if you've got any last-minute business to attend to, now might be a good time. No telling how long the cabinet's gonna keep us waiting out here.
Actually, I need to go take care of a few things.
Come find me when you're done.
Hit the stores.
Please let me know if I may assist you. I'm sure you'll be satisfied. I'm sure you'll be. Your patronage is appreciated. You won't find a larger array. I'm sure you'll be satisfied. I'll see you again, I'm sure.
Well, hello. Let's see what you've got. Bye, love.
You like that better?
What's happening, darling? Have something for me? Oh, I love our little chats. You know how to make a woman feel. Ah, my day, just bring me anything useful. Ah, I miss talking to you already.
You know, there's nothing. Please, take a... There's something to be said for brand loyalty. Only the finest collect.
Hey. Thanks for the saying what's up. Appreciate that. Been here for a while.
Hi.
Finally back with our son. That's all that matters.
Hey, it's you again. I'm great, actually. These are my parents. I told everyone they just got on a different shuttle, but nobody would listen. We're just exploring New Atlantis. We have a new apartment. This place is amazing. Anyway, it was nice to see you again. Maybe I'll see you around. And don't forget my birthday. It's June 11th.
They were gonna give our son to a different family. We made it back just in time.
Bobby mentioned he met you. He's had quite the adventure.
Hello.
You're only as safe. I would never dream of selling substance. Yes, by all means, have a look.
Go drop some books. Then we'll be done with that. Nice yellow wave jumpsuit. Can dig it.
see you around.
I used to be an actuary. Now look at...
I'm afraid, due to recent legislative action... Welcome to UC Distribution. Oh, well, certainly.
Modified Big Bang particle beam shotgun. Professional squad. Let's see. Do I need to get into particle beams? Maybe I do. But that's not gonna help me right now. Should calibrate it alright. Dude, full auto. Laser rifles at 52. With a 33 fire rate.
I hope we have what you need. Right. Come back if you need something else.
Nice hat.
That guy in contact with the job.
Still no word from the cabinet. Anything you wanted to discuss in the interim?
What are the risks of assessing the data?
Eye strain from the amount of reading I've got on the horizon if we succeed. The Terramorph project never went anywhere. It couldn't. They're deadly creatures, but they aren't xenoweapons. The cabinet not opening the archives is probably a bigger risk than them handing over the files. That data itself isn't dangerous, which probably wouldn't be a bad point for us to bring up, should the opportunity arise.
Any suggestions on what I should say?
Well, thinking about it more, I suspect there'd be value in sharing the fact that the Terramorph project was, well, a failure. There's no need to be afraid of this data being weaponized. Knowing that should calm some of the cabinet's fears and make it easier for us to dispel any suspicions the other factions might have about our intentions.
Tell me more about your father.
I mean, we never spent a lot of time together. He was too busy being Fleet Admiral to deal with kids. I was raised by a pair of Guardians instead. Until his defeat during the Colony War, though, he was known as an extremely effective commander. Savvy. Perceptive. That mind opened a lot of doors for him. And for me, too. But Vae Victus, for all his ability, was heartless. Ruthless to a fault. In the end, that's what cost him his life. That's actually a souvenir from my time on Mars. The Red Devils unit I was a part of, they were founded by recruits who'd worked some of Mars' deepest mines. Folks used to adversity. The dust at those depths, it seeps into everything. The human eye included. Where the name Red Devils came from in the first place. It became an unwritten rite of passage that anyone wanting to enlist with the Devils had to do a stint in the mines before they could join up. The Devils were always talked about in such revered tones during my training, so as soon as I was old enough, I signed up. And the eyes were my parting gift. Then I guess it's just a matter of...
The cabinet meeting is about to begin. All parties, please proceed to the cabinet chambers.
Sounds like our cue. Here we go.
Ah, welcome. You must be the captain Hadrian mentioned in her report. You have our thanks for the risks you faced in securing this information.
Adrian made it clear that addressing this issue required the utmost urgency.
Oh, I'm sure she did.
Yes, well, precisely how urgent is what I hope we'll determine here today. So now, we have two petitioners here making a surprising request. Access to the UC Xeno Warfare Team's Terramorph data, currently housed in the Armistice archives. A request which will require not just this body's agreement, but that of all 3 Armistice signatories. UC, Freestar Collective, and House Varun. Now, Captain, we've all read Hadrian's report on the subject, but we have yet to hear from you. Perhaps you could summarize for the Cabinet what it is you see as the goal of this endeavor.
We're still trying to figure out what we're facing. We can't make an informed decision without data.
That is something to consider. Though we also have to take into account the nature of the data you require.
Madam President, I object to the very premise of this meeting. While no one would argue that what happened on Tau Ceti was anything less than a tragedy, Terramorph attacks are not some sudden new threat on the horizon. They've been happening for generations. To demand we hand over banned archival knowledge and possibly upset the balance of galactic diplomacy because of a single attack seems at best panic. And at worst, a power grab by the daughter of a bloodthirsty warmonger and her associates.
I would remind the Chief Diplomat who he's speaking to. If it's my father you're looking to address, you're welcome to consult a medium. I would also ask how many deaths the Cabinet requires to act. 50? 50,000? Because if tragedies like Tau Ceti are just prelude to more attacks, I have no doubt you'll get the body count you require.
Let's keep this civil, shall we? And while there should be no doubt the preservation of life stands paramount among this body's duties, Chief Yassine has a point. Will a single attack, however troubling, be sufficient to convince the other factions to grant us access to what they no doubt consider weapon data? I don't think it's enough. Perhaps you can help, Captain. As the one who actually collected the sample in question, did this Terramorph seem at all alarming to you?
Just taking her word for it as well, then.
So it would seem. So then, Captain, given the discussion now and the information you've been privy to thus far, if you were in our position, would you grant the request made to open the archives?
Yes, if the fear is the data being weaponized, the Terramorph program failed, the data's not dangerous.
It doesn't matter if it can be weaponized or not. The archives need to remain sealed for now. There's no reason to rush into a decision of this magnitude.
That? I hadn't thought of that, Captain.
An excellent point indeed. The other powers would likely be much more inclined to work with us knowing that. Chief Diplomat.
That point is a good one. Very well, you have my agreement. The galaxy is lucky you were here today, Captain.
You and I are in agreement, Chief Diplomat. So, if there are no other objections, I believe we can agree to give our full backing to make the request to... What was that?
Attention. An incident has occurred. Facility lockdown engaged.
Incident? Chief Sarkin...
There's been an attack at the spaceport. Terramorphs.
Terramorphs. More attacks. Just as predicted.
Good God.
Damn it. They're here. Now.
There must be another explanation. The creatures evaded our scanner somehow.
There will be plenty of time for conjecture later. Chief Sarkin, order the evacuation of the spaceport and have your men contain the things, but do it discreetly. The last thing we need is a citywide panic.
Yes, ma'am.
We're gonna load up. Let's go here. Let's see what this one does. I'm trying to keep the wifey happy. And, I don't know why she didn't like that. The data's not dangerous. We're gonna keep the information.
Ah, welcome.
Oh, I'm sure she did.
Yes, well, so now, we have access to the use, a request. Now, Captain, perhaps you could...
We're still trying to figure out. Let's see.
That is something to...
Madam President, while no one would argue, they've been happening to demand. Seems at best.
I would remind the chief. I would also add, because if tragedies...
Let's keep this... And while there should be no... Chief Yassine has a point. I don't think it's enough. Perhaps you can help.
Wiped out a colony that never saw coming. That's pretty alarming.
That is worth considering. This attack took place on an almost completely uninhabited world. The casualties were minimal as a result. But if there's another attack, will we be so lucky?
Yes, a fine point, Admiral. So then, Captain, given the discussion now,
Madam President, if it were me, I wouldn't grant the request. The archives are sealed for a reason.
Agreed. That option should only be considered as a last resort after we've gathered the proper information and ruled out every other possibility.
Wait, you don't mean...
I couldn't agree more, Captain. There's too much at stake for us to act hastily.
yes, a fair assessment, Chief Diplomat. So then, while the data you two have presented is compelling, I think we can safely say it's insufficient for the level of action you've requested. Perhaps once we... What was that?
Attention. An incident has occurred. Facility lockdown engaged.
There's been an attack at the spaceport. Terramorphs.
Terramorphs. More attacks. Just as predicted.
Good God.
Damn it. They're here. Now.
There must be another explanation. The creatures evaded our scanner somehow.
There will be plenty of time for conjecture later. Chief Sarkin, order the evacuation of the spaceport and have your men contain the things, but do it discreetly. The last thing we need is a citywide panic.
Yes, ma'am.
Admiral Logan, the local barracks can provide support?
I'll make the order myself. Nearest anti-Xeno squad, though, is off-world. Gonna take a while to bring them in.
Well then, we'll have to make do with the tools we've got. You two... out of the spaceport. I want you both on the next train there. We'll let them know you're coming and that you've dealt with these things before. Now go show them how it's done.
We're on it, Captain.
We're taking a beer. No, everybody's looking the other way.
got?
Switching to a new target. I guess they ran away.
Lights out on them!
I don't even need a gun.
Thank you for what you did. We didn't want to hurt them.
The way those people were acting, I've seen this before. They were under the Terramorph's influence, weren't they?
I don't know. They were down at the port and they just started screaming. We tried to restrain them, get them on the train to get them out of harm's way, but some of the other officers down there, we couldn't restrain them fast enough. They just started firing on us. People we knew. They went berserk.
Pheromonic projection. Some Terramorphs, they can induce this fog. It affects everyone differently, but some people just lose control, turn against everyone around them, even if they don't want to. They're like a puppet. You kill the morph, you break the hold. But this means we're gonna need to be real careful with our fire, and keep that EM weapon at the ready. Let's do it.
Nat's unlocked. Please, do what you can to help them.
No time to waste, Captain. Stash the EM and pull some firepower. Let's move!
You are required to proceed to the nearest shelter.
Sir, shoot it! Shoot it!
You might back up. Don't just stand there.
Wait, officer? Are you and this woman... experts? Take whatever we can get right now. We've got the remaining creatures locked down on the landing pad, barely holding our perimeter. They said you've done this. Fire team to spare, and whatever supplies you need, but I can't risk them taking over any more of my men. Put those things down and do it fast. We hold them as best we can.
Stock up on junk.
Heard you might be looking for some backup. You say the word, we're out there on your 6.
You two have any experience with Terramorphs before?
Only the brief they just gave on the way here, but we know how to handle pressure.
Surviving a full-on mental assault isn't the same as keeping your cool in a firefight. Might make you more liability than asset.
We're not UC security. You don't need to worry about us. We're not afraid, but we'll stay here and hold the line if that's what you want. You're the experts. Roger that. We're on you.
Whatever's out there, I'm ready.
guess our people weren't so lucky.
The Cabinet's already got a plan in place to make sure attacks like this never happen again.
Can't happen soon enough. Thank you. The city owes you both a debt after this.
We were just in the right place at the right time. Captain, we should report back to the President. Let her know the Terramorphs have been dealt with. Take care of yourself, Sergeant.
They said you're free to come and go.
That's a relief to hear. Thank you, gentlemen. let your people all know how much we owe them today.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone in the line of duty
there you
is
are.
a tragedy.
I believe
These attacks,
we have some things
they
we
can't
should
happen
discuss.
again.
The loss of life, the damage to the spaceport. The costs of this attack are greater than I think we realize.
Captain, Hadrian, it would appear that the Cabinet owes you our thanks for what you did for the city today, as well as an apology. Your concerns about the Terramorphs, well, consider them validated.
Thank you, ma'am.
Of course. I only wish we could have acted sooner. Now, after today's events, the Cabinet has decided to revisit its previous decision. We will be supporting your collection of the Terramorph data from the archives, as well as a subsequent investigation into the nature of these attacks. But to accomplish those goals, we're going to need the right people in the right places. As such, the Cabinet has authorized me to reinstate you, Hadrian, effective immediately, to your former rank of Major. As soon as we've got the data in hand, we want you investigating these attacks and how to stop them. Will you do this?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. I'd be honored.
Excellent. But as you've both made clear, for such an investigation to succeed first, we're going to need someone to convince the Freestar Collective and House Varun to play ball. Someone who knows precisely the sorts of dangers the colonies and all the galaxy are facing right now. The Cabinet wants you, Captain, to be that representative. The Cabinet wants progress, and wants it quickly. You're already far more familiar with the situation than any diplomat would be. There's also no diplomat alive that can claim they helped keep a cadre of Terramorphs off the embassy doorsteps. The Cabinet was unanimous. They want you.
If you're sure that's the wisest course of action.
We do. In exchange, we're willing to fast-track your citizenship upon collection of the data. So, can we count on you both? You two won't have any issues continuing to work together?
It won't be an issue for me, ma'am. I suppose I can understand the Captain's hesitance in accessing the archives. But now, well, the situation's changed. For all of us.
Excellent. Captain? I'm glad to hear it. Now, we, of course, won't be sending you in without the proper support. Deputy McIntyre in the Office of Interstellar Affairs will be your guide on gaining access to the archives. You should be able to find her in her office across the hall. And on behalf of the whole of the United Colonies, you have our thanks. You're dismissed.
The next time Terramorphs rear their ugly heads, UC is going to be ready.
I'm gonna go check in with Chief
correct
Engineer
that.
Kulkarni. Start getting a plan together for that data.
By the way, Captain, Sergeant Yumi was looking for you. Sounds like he's got more work.
What? Oh. Sorry, just... Terramorph attack. I'm lucky to still be here.
These orders can't be... Yes. Yes, sir. Consider it done. That must make you my Vanguard captain. Welcome to Interstellar Affairs. I'm Deputy Chief Diplomat McIntyre, Chief Yassine's second-in-command. I heard you were instrumental in protecting the city from the attack. You have my gratitude. I was also told the President wants us to get you into the Armistice Archives ASAP. So, we've got no time to waste. You know what the Archives are, correct?
Where the UC collects, keeps all their secrets on how to kill Freestar citizens.
Last I checked, it takes 2 parties to fight a war. But, since you're such an expert, I'm sure you also know it's supposed to be managed by the 3 major galactic players. Access to the archives is only granted in cases of dire emergency, and requires a one-time use code from each of the 3 Armistice signatories. UC, Freestar Collective, and House Va'ruun. Now, the UC is already on board, so that means we'll need to convince 2 people. The ambassadors of the Freestar Collective and House Va'ruun to hand over their codes. Get them both and you'll have your data. But that's a lot easier said than done.
No problem, I'm just gonna need some electrodes, a tooth extractor, and some sodium pentothal. Do you think they'd be clamoring to help after the spaceport attack? Sure doesn't sound easy.
It won't be. Both ambassadors have reasons they won't, or can't, work with us. Now, I'll provide guidance on how we believe you can acquire each code, but ultimately, it'll be up to you to get them both to cooperate. And I do mean cooperate. Threats and violence are off the table here. Though that doesn't mean we can't get creative. But it does mean we need to get you up to speed on who you're dealing with. Who do you want to start with? Ambassador Radcliffe of Freestar, or Ambassador Balmore of House Va'ruun?
Oh, let's do the Freestar. Finish with them.
The good Ambassador Radcliffe. She's a veteran of the Colony War, and her only goal in life is to make ours miserable.
If Sam is any example of how stubborn the Freestar people can be, then I can imagine how difficult it must be dealing with this ambassador.
Now, officially, our office is suggesting you try and negotiate with her. Use your experiences as a member of the military and with the threat we're facing to convince her to lend her support. And who knows? Maybe that'll work. Stranger things have happened. But my suspicion is we're going to have to rely on other tools to get her code.
I think you're underestimating how delightful I am.
Huh. Well, if that's the case, I'll wait to be pleasantly surprised. But we do have one item up our sleeve. UC Intelligence has a recording device planted in the Ambassador's living quarters, which we suspect you can use to your advantage. But getting caught trespassing is a quick way to land yourself in an embassy holding cell. So, if you are going to try and access the device, you're going to need to find a way in there without being seen. Report suggests there's a disgruntled staff member you might be able to pump for intel. Maybe even convince to work with you.
Any other things I should avoid doing inside the embassy?
Yes, many. Don't steal anything. Don't get caught anywhere you're not supposed to. Absolutely do not harm anyone. If something goes wrong, we'll do our best to smooth things over, but I can't make any promises.
Tell me about the staff.
Name's Cameron Long. He's younger than Ratcliffe, bears less of a grudge towards the UC. He works closely with the ambassador, making him a promising source for information on the ins and outs of embassy life, and someone who very likely hates her guts. All right. Here, your diplomatic ID. I'll give them a heads up, you're on your way. Not likely to let you through the door otherwise.
Tell me about the Ambassador Balmore of House Varun.
Ambassador Balmore's a challenge. When the rest of House Varun retreated into seclusion shortly after the signing of the armistice, Balmore stayed here. He's since lent his support to a small number of archival requests, so there's real hope he might again, though claiming to know how a member of House Varun thinks is a quick way to earn yourself a psych eval.
I'm sure it can be reasoned with. House Varun are people just like us.
Well said. There's no reason to assume they're any worse than us, despite their cultural beliefs.
Of course, but there is another wrinkle. We're not 100% sure Balmore is actually still alive.
Oh, great.
His public appearances were always rare, but it's been several years now since he last poked his head out. Scans of the facility show life signs, but not the kind we were expecting. Your task is to find him and kindly but firmly remind him of his duties under the armistice.
Got it. Track him down. Here's hoping we're not chasing a corpse.
It would at least be a speedier negotiation. But I, of course, hope the ambassador is alive and well. Now, the embassy front door isn't an option, but our spies have stated there's a side entrance that should allow you access. Here, this device should get you all the way down to the embassy interior. Once you're inside, though, finding the ambassador is going to be up to you. And fair warning, we received a report that alarms might have been tripped inside the embassy during the attacks. Watch out for automated security in there. Now, if you have additional questions or require clearance for a new approach we haven't already discussed, don't hesitate to ask. I'd suggest you start with Ambassador Ratcliffe. Approach her while the attack is still fresh in her and her staff's mind. Be smart out there, Captain.
Sounds good. Let's go get a code. I feel a little bit more awake now. I gotta go to bed soon. We're having a good night. You enjoying the show? We are going to
Captain. Congratulations on joining the ranks of the band.
Be careful if you run into those ecliptic jerks.
You are a visitor? You'll find the ambassador in her office. Go on through.
Visitors are only allowed in the lobby, offices, or...
I'm going to be upfront with you.
That means you.
I'm not happy visiting anything related to the Freestar Collective. But you lead, and I'll follow.
It says Ranger. Wife. Regrets my choices.
Terrors. As in more than one? All that security and they still can't protect their own spaceport. The UC never fails to disappoint. I just wish I hadn't received the news from an SSNN broadcast. We have a strategic advantage to maintain, Mr. Long.
Of course, ma'am. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again.
Excuse me. Are you supposed to be in here?
Official business? Talk to the ambassador.
I'm sorry. Do you have an appointment?
I'm here today on behalf of the United Colonies, but I'm a member of the Collective, just like you.
Ah, so you're the one they called about. Failed to mention you were Collective-born. You have my thanks for what you did down there, truly. Saved many lives. Now, she also mentioned that, and maybe it was just a bad connection, that now the UC wants terramorph data from the Armistice archives, some of the most highly guarded information in the galaxy, in order to protect us all. I can only presume you're here to tell me I misheard her and that they didn't send you, local hero, to futilely beg on their behalf. Tell me I've got that right.
No, they sent me to beg. Please, please, pretty, please. That's great. You heard correctly. We need access to the archives.
I was afraid of that. Let me be frank, Captain. The answer is no. That information is there because it is dangerous. I will not be the one responsible for its release. Now, why don't you quit wasting my time and yours, and go?
Persuade, please, ambassadors. Listen to what I have
You're
to
really gonna push this? All right, I will give you one chance. One to convince me.
say. Got one shot.
Understood.
Persuade, just hear me out.
I'm listening.
Okay, so we need 3, 6, 8 points in 3 turns. Freestar Collective settlement. Hey, the Collective's my home. I just want what's for best with it, what's best for it, and that's working with the UC.
In the end, we all just want to be safe in our little fiefdoms, don't we?
The Terramorph Xeno Weapons Project was a failure. That knowledge is dangerous.
The warmongers of the UC will find a way to make it dangerous. You have my word.
So now I need 5. I'm a Freestar Ranger. I know right from wrong when I see it, and the UC is trying to do right here.
A ranger serving the cause of the colonies. You must really believe in this little endeavor. Well, Captain, you make some good points. But if I'm really granting you access, I'm gonna need the following concessions. Your access will be limited. You can only take out the items related to stopping these terramorphs. The monitors will make sure of it. You go in once. You get everything you need on your trip, and never again. And all research done with the data will be monitored. If this data is being used to save the galaxy needs to be involved in the oversight. Freestar scientists will watch your people like hawks. So, do we have an agreement?
Agreed.
Excellent. Follow me. They tell me it should only take a moment. And there. It's not supposed to be a long process. It is for emergencies, after all.
This building is Freestar sovereign territory, so in here, we're the law.
That's less than 6 hours